It is the Riot Podcast. It's myself, Isaiah, filling in for Hudson as he is on a short vacation.
Thank you for filling
Nikki.
in, by the way.
Of course.
Everybody loves to hear about you and your ways.
Yeah. It was a better show today. Yesterday, there was some backlash. I was okay with it because I brought it upon myself, but people didn't like my taste in food.
Well, today we talk about foods that we do like and if that matches Isaiah's likes or dislikes. And my favorite was when one person was like, I don't want to be offensive, but like, how old is Isaiah?
Yeah, I got quoted as being a 7-year-old. There was some mean text coming through. But then they were like, how old is he actually? Like, is there like a 15-year-old in there? Is he 12? How old is he? And I was like, well, I'm 23, so I'm old enough to know what I like and don't like.
That's right.
And I said, at this point in my life, I know what I like. I'm a man. I'll eat the food I want to eat, and if I don't like it,
I don't want to.
I just don't want it.
So
I'm
we
not going to try
talked a bit about that. So if you ever want to chime in and get involved, even after the podcast, just text us at 877-2RadioU anytime, especially over this weekend. If there's something you want us to talk about on Monday, send it our way, and we'll talk to you then.
We also touched on some of the shortages that are happening, and one of the shortages that ended up working out in a pretty good way is the bus shortage because the high school couldn't get a school bus to come, so instead they ordered a party bus, which I'm sure all the high schoolers are very happy about.
That made their whole high school career.
Oh yeah,
right there.
They're like, remember when we got that party bus instead of the school bus, and we took it on our field trip? So yeah, there was a lot of fun details with that, but yeah, there was a full-out literal party bus. We talked about that. We also talked about how in New York, there's more people back in the office than there has been in a long time, and the number is still relatively low.
It is. So they're trying to, what is Wall Street trying to do to get people to come back in the office? And if they're all back in the office, to have them happy. You'd be surprised at some of the methods they are using.
Yeah, they're tugging at the heartstrings, I would say. And another category of people that are tugging at the heartstrings is the millennials, because they have the most pets of anybody. At 76% have a dog or a cat, which is like every 3 and 4 people that are that age, which is actually a really, really high number.
And since I have 3, I am really increasing that.
You're like, 210%?
I try to be an overachiever, and I also can't say no.
Yeah, if I had more than just the one, I wouldn't even be able to come to work. I'd be pulling my hair out.
No, you'd do better. You'd be surprised, because if you have more than one dog, same thing with cats. Like they can sometimes keep each other company, because I think your dog Jim is bored.
He is bored for sure.
And so his thing when he's bored, he's like, well, I'm just going to pee.
Yeah. Well, since I don't really have that much to do, I'm just going to pee in your bed. That seems like maybe that'll get you riled up and play with me.
How do you like that, Dad?
Yeah, how about I get some attention by just pooping in the house? That's a good way to get attention.
If he had another little doggy friend, he'd be like, I'm not bored anymore, but they'd probably still pee in your bed.
If I got another dog, number one, it could not be a puppy. There's no way I'm doing that again. Yeah. And it would have to be like a 4 or 5-year-old, maybe even like a 7-year-old dog.
You need a senior dog.
It's just like chill, that he can kind of act like, he can grow up a little bit. Right now, he's a puppy. He does whatever he wants, and he's terrible.
Well,
he is. He's a weasel. He's this creature that I allow to live in my house, and I don't know why, because he shows me no respect. He pees on the floor, and then he's not even sad. He's like, some dogs know when they do something bad, and they'll hide, and their ears will get tucked away. When he does something bad, his head is held high. He puffs his chest out.
He's proud.
He's proud that he peed in the house, and he does not care. He'll wag his tail. He has no idea they did something wrong, which is the worst.
Feel free, if you like to look at the adoption options for pets, feel free to send any good ones for older than 5-year-old dog to Isaiah.
And if you're looking to adopt a pet, there's this really cute guy. His name's Jim.
Yeah.
He's a 7-month-old basset hound, and he could use a home that he can pee in.
And dude, at this point, 7 months is not as much a puppy anymore.
That's what I said. I said you're not a puppy.
You're really pushing it on that, Jim. So just so you know. So make sure you enjoy the podcast, text 877-2RadioU, or join us at RadioU on Facebook and RadioU Riot. We hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
And Nikki, you know there's like a million shortages going on right now.
The list is long, and if you're like, no, it hasn't impacted me, give it a moment because you're going to find out about another thing that's a shortage here.
It's only a matter of time before you're affected. But most of the things we bring up on here are like bad things that are missing. But this ended up being a really cool thing because they were so short on bus drivers. A high school hired a party bus so they didn't have to cancel their scavenger hunt.
So it was a 11th grade, like a trip they were doing?
Yeah, it was like a field trip to do literally a scavenger hunt.
That's fun.
And they hired a party bus because all the other buses weren't in commission, I guess.
So it's the bus driver thing that's really the shortage part because what we were talking about was it Massachusetts a few weeks ago where they had to like activate the National Guard to bring in people to be able to drive school buses for in their area. School bus drivers it looks like it pays pretty good, but there's just not enough of them. So then they had to go with a party bus.
And if you're like an 11th grader and you're going on a field trip, how much cooler is it? Like, you don't even really care about the field trip at this point. Just riding in the party bus alone, that's enough of a trip for me. Like, if I get to go on the party bus, take me around for a half an hour or so, bring me back to school, like, that's a field trip on its own.
I don't need to do the scavenger hunt.
No.
You feel bad for, like, the school plays because, I mean, way to think outside the box. You got the field trip to happen. But I'm sure people are a bit upset. It has all the party bus, how do we say, accessories?
Yeah, all the fun stuff that the adults who wanted the party bus, the kids also had.
They probably were not allowed to touch anything.
No, I bet there had to be some rules laid down right when you got on. They're like, okay, boys, girls, we do not touch anything. Everyone just stay in your seats. Act like it's a normal bus. Act like it's a normal bus.
Well, it's a company called Deluxe Limousine, and they said it's the first time that they've had a party bus company hired by a school.
Yeah, well, you think about it, too. They probably were just as surprised as the school was that they were getting a phone call like, hey, can you take our 11th graders on a scavenger hunt? And they were like, what the heck? Like, typically we just take people out and we have a good time, but we will take your 11th graders if you want.
Well, it was a tweet done by one of the English teachers, and that's been deleted. So I think the school district just doesn't want anybody to talk about it anymore. But they did have to hire the Deluxe Limousine, and it was a party bus, a 50-person party bus, and it had all the stuff. It had lights, sound system. You could have done like karaoke in there.
No way.
But they just were using it to take them for their scavenger hunt.
Well, you think about all the different accessories. I'd be kind of upset too if I was on the party bus and I didn't get to like do the karaoke and do the whole 9 yards. Like, if you're paying for it,
might as well.
If they're gonna let you do it, you might as well let the kids do it, right?
The bus shortage is for usually school buses, but if you want to be a party bus driver, that'll make you about $30 to $35 an hour. That's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good.
And it says if you're a regular bus driver, it's just under $20 an hour.
That also feels pretty good. But no one, is it a lost art? I don't know how else to say it. Like, does anybody want to be a bus driver?
Like, why? I mean, I would never want to be a bus driver because I don't want to have to be in charge of a bunch of kids, high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary schoolers. Like, I don't want to be the one in charge. It's almost like being a teacher, but you're on a bus. Like, you have to watch everybody,
That's a good way
but
to
drive at the same time.
You don't want to be a moving teacher?
No. I just don't want to be liable for all these people on the bus. I'm looking through like the rear view mirror. Like, when I'm driving my car alone, I'm stressed out, let alone having like 60 fifth graders behind me screaming at each other.
But they're supposed to just sit down. You remember how it was in the bus? You just
That's what you're supposed to do.
Bit.
But then the entire ride, somebody's getting yelled at. Sit down. You're in the aisle. Get out of the aisle. I can't see in my mirror. There's too much going on.
I think it'd be an amazing one because then you just yell every so often from when you're bus driving.
Oh, yeah.
Just yell, sit down or be quiet.
Sit down back there. Enough.
I see you. And
Chris, it's been 6 days in a row.
Listen, it doesn't mean if anything's going wrong. You just throw that out.
Oh, yeah.
Every so often, and then they just think, oh, I don't want to mess with Isaiah.
No. Everybody sit down, be quiet. No, my bus should be no talking. You can play on your phones, do whatever you want, headphones in, but I want no conversation.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
And Nikki, is it ever tough for you to just wake up in the morning?
Well, I think it is. It's not like you hate your job, but we get up so early that we hate the moment you're just done sleeping.
When the alarm goes off and you're like, is this really my life?
When you know that's over and like you can't fall asleep again.
The relaxation time is over and you lay there for a second and you're like, if I don't get up, what happens? That's what I go through every single morning. If I don't get up,
how bad would it be?
What happens? Like if I don't show up to work today, how much trouble would I be in? And I go through the same scenario every single day of I'd be in a lot of trouble. I have to get up and go to work.
And I don't know if we just haven't given ourselves enough time, but like I feel like if you work till later in the morning, you might get up, maybe watch a show or something, eat a breakfast that lasts a little bit longer, go do some stuff. We have so little time before work actually starts that, you don't get to do any of that.
No, you don't get to do any. But wouldn't it be a little bit nicer if we came in and there were like dogs running around and we were getting like free gym memberships and all kinds of nice little enticing things to come back into work? Because in New York, they just hit the highest percentage of people back in the office in almost the entire pandemic, which is 30%.
Oh, that's only it?
30%.
Oh, I thought it was going to be more than that.
I thought it was too,
they
but
say
it is
especially
not.
like in the Wall Street area, it's just really hard to get people back. And so they're using incentives to have people return to work and be happier with their return to work.
Yeah, some of them are free meals, gym memberships, group therapy, and even allowing their dogs in the office.
Did you see the therapy puppies?
I did not see the therapy puppies.
One company just brought therapy puppies in for people who came back this month to work. So that way they would just have, like, even if you didn't have a dog at home, there was a dog at work.
See, I thought that we didn't get enticed by anything, but then I remember that we come in every single day to like free snacks. And so maybe that's like our enticing thing is if you come in every now and then, like there will just be donuts here, or we'll have new chips or Pop-Tarts or Rice Krispies or cookies or something's here.
It is good. Food is our love language. I understand that. And we also have dogs at home, so it's not like sometimes going to work is the break you get from your dog.
It is. As sad as that makes me feel, it literally is. If I can get away from the house just for a little bit, when I pull back into the driveway, because he's a puppy, if he was like a fully grown dog, it wouldn't be as bad, but he wreaks havoc on this house. Like, he wreaks havoc.
You need a break.
I pull back into the driveway, and I'm like, dang, let me just sit here for like a minute or two and just enjoy like the silence, because when I go in there, it is full-on chaos.
Well, maybe your dog, what if you found out too? He's like, you mean I could have been going to work with you and you did not bring me in?
Yeah, if we were, even if you said like, you can bring your dog in tomorrow, I'd be like, I don't know if he's ready.
William, I love your text. William says, my work enticement is they'll give you a paycheck. Yeah, that's how most places are. But if you want to go back to work in New York City or in Wall Street area, they're trying to give you other things like, yes, the gym membership, or you get food. I always wanted to work at one of those places where they call it like a campus.
Oh, yeah.
And everything's in it. Like you can get your hair cut.
There's
you can go work out.
There.
Exactly. That's what I think would be really fun. Even though I know like those are the big places and they're like, yeah, but you're just a part of the machine.
But listen, I'm fine with being a part of the machine.
It's a free machine.
I'll be the thing that hits them on the door as they go out. I'll be the back door of the machine if we need to be. If there's a cafeteria there, I can get a haircut. It's just a one-stop shop.
So some places are still delaying the return to office plan, like when they're the big companies. Yeah. But others are back in, and that seems to just keep increasing. And if you are going back into work, maybe see what your place is offering.
Or you might just be one of the many of us that just have to go back into work.
I know when I read these stories, we never stopped working. We didn't get to work from home. We just kept coming into work. So it is a little bit different. And I would still want to bring up therapy puppies as an option. Yeah.
Maybe if we're tossing out ideas, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to maybe bring in some really well-behaved dogs that we could just pet.
Why pay for so many streaming services that you don't really care about when you can not really care about the riot for free? RadioU.
And Nikki, we've gotten to the point of the week now where we are so very close to getting to enjoy a little bit of happiness.
We're almost done. I know you guys just have, we have the day, and then when the day's over, you're into the weekend. So the question is anybody going to do anything fun this weekend?
We work all week, and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the weekend, and the weekend comes, and I'm like, well, maybe I just won't do anything.
Oh, I don't like hearing about your weekends, though, because Isaiah does things, and it really makes me feel bad that I barely went apple picking last weekend. And outside of that, like, I don't do too much on the weekends. And you're the one who's like, well, I'm going here or there. Aren't you golfing this weekend?
I'm golfing tomorrow as long as it doesn't rain. But my roommate called me like on Wednesday. He was like, what we should do this weekend? We should golf while it's still kind of warm out and it's not too cold yet. So he
Do
said,
you schedule a time?
oh,
Or?
yeah, tea time's off at noon. We're going with 2 of our other friends, and we're going to do that like right in the middle of the day on Saturday.
But that's
and
walking. What are you doing?
No, we're not walking.
Oh, you get cards?
We're getting the carts. We're going to ride the carts around. That's like half the fun of golfing. It's getting to drive the go-kart.
Well, it just feels like that's a long commitment, so
It
I wasn't
is.
sure.
It's going to be like a 12 to 4 type thing, and then afterwards, we'll probably all hang out and get dinner or do something fun. But for Saturday in the morning, we decided that we're just going to relax from whatever time we wake up until noon. That's our relaxation time. And then Sunday is also a relaxation day.
Sure.
Where we just sit around and watch football all day long.
Well, you got a weekend plan, don't you?
Yeah, what about you, Nikki? Are you doing anything?
Well, and please text so I'm not the only one in case you don't know what this is.
I probably won't.
Because you don't have Netflix. So I don't
Yeah.
think you have ever maybe even watched this show. But if anybody else is watching, there's this show called The Great British Baking Show. Have you not heard of it? I can't tell by your face.
What?
Have you
The
not
Great
heard of
British.
it?
What are you doing this weekend, Nikki? Well, have you ever heard of this thing called the Great British Baking
I'm not
Show?
golfing, but it's something.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been around for like years, and it's had like controversial moments because they go through different hosts and stuff.
Okay.
It's basically it's a baking show. They're in a tent in England, and they have contestants come and bake, and then each week one of them gets kicked off.
So is this like a thing you've been doing every weekend, or is it like just starting?
This is the new season today.
Oh, so that's exciting then.
And it runs similar, like around the same time as it does in the UK, because I think it was like you don't want to look for spoilers because
yeah.
it runs like the day before. So yeah, I was so bummed. I was planning on like the whole weekend. I forgot they don't release the whole thing at once.
Okay, so it's just like weekly, like
It's
every
just
Friday or something?
one episode a week.
Oh,
so
that's the worst.
that's
I
what I'm going to
hate
do.
when they do that. I hate
was
it.
so bummed.
I hate it.
So if anybody else is also watching the British Baking Show, let me know. Or is anybody else going to golf like Isaiah because he's going outside?
Yeah, I'm going outside, and Nikki's gonna stay inside and watch her show. Are you gonna watch it tonight, or are you gonna save it for like Saturday midday?
I was thinking lunch today.
Lunch today? You can't take the big thing for this weekend and do
Yes,
it like
I can.
halfway through the day today. You need to savor it for tomorrow. Because if you do it lunch today, then like what are you gonna do the rest of the weekend?
I know, you're right. Maybe I should save it for like tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night or something, so that you have something to look forward to. Because if you just knock it out first thing when you get home, then you have the rest of the weekend where you're like, well.
Well, thanks to someone, I wasn't invited to also go golfing.
Oh.
I took lessons.
Well,
I'm
listen,
not bad.
Listen. I didn't get invited to watch your baking show either. So.
Oh, yeah, you're right. All right, we'll keep it separate.
We'll keep it separate. Next time we can go golfing together, and then I can come back and watch this show that sounds interesting.
There's a lot of episodes. I know you don't have Netflix, but if you borrow, like, you have someone that...
Yeah,
You have a family member that...
Listen, this is going to sound really bad, but I bought my TV for my house off of a Facebook Marketplace. And so someone had it before me, and
No,
they're
it is
still
not.
logged into their
Oh, my
Netflix. And they have like 5 people, like they have like 5 different little characters or whatever on it. So they're never going to know that we use it, because I assume if you have 5 people in your family, like people are getting on it probably in different places.
Oh, they'll have no idea.
So we're going to be bumming Netflix forever.
You're crazy.
I will never pay.
Why does that work out so well for you?
I know. We got on the TV, and it's a smart TV, and we're like, oh my gosh, like Netflix is already loaded on here. And for whatever reason, we just clicked on it, and it pops up Dad, Mom, Jessica, Andy. I'm like, well, let's log into Dad's.
He won't notice.
He'll never know. Dad's on again, whatever.
This is The Riot. Radio U.
As I've come through the years, there's one thing that I am not good at, and that is throwing things.
You can't?
I cannot.
You don't play baseball?
I didn't play baseball. I played lacrosse. I played baseball when I was little, and it was like the one sport that I epically failed at. Like, I was just bad. I was really bad at baseball.
Your parents knew not to it wasn't worth
Yeah,
continuing.
they knew. They were like, okay, like we don't need to continue this. 3rd grade, like that's enough. And then I switched over to lacrosse in 4th grade, and then I played for a long time, and I was much better at that. But if I had to throw out a first pitch, I know for a fact that I would do a much better job than Conor McGregor.
So we talked about it yesterday. Conor McGregor throughout, it was at Wrigley Field. He did the ceremony pitch the other day, and it was awful. It was fast. I'll give him that. It was
powerful.
It was a powerful throw, but he threw completely to the right. Like, it might as well have been to another stadium. Like, it just was completely to the side, and everybody was making fun of Conor McGregor, you know, the fighter who always has something going on. And so everybody was making fun of him. Well, Conor McGregor now has an update based on him finding out that everybody's been making fun of him.
Yeah, he said it was the most powerful and fastest ceremonial first pitch in recent memory.
Dude, this guy must be so...
He's too much. He's way too much. I don't know. He thinks I don't know if he thinks too highly of him. Like, is this serious? He does. Is he being serious? Like, he has to be joking.
He says, "Put me in the Wrigley Hall of Fame for that rocket launch."
That rocket launch. You know, for first pitches, like throwing it fast and stuff, like that's all nice and dandy. But getting it the accuracy is what matters. Like, if you throw a strike, I don't care if you lob it in there, if it goes 6 miles per hour, whatever it is. If it's like an accurate throw, hits the glove, that's way better than throwing a rocket to left field. Like, I don't care if it looks incredible. You threw it really far, really fast. If it isn't right into the catcher's mitt, it does not matter.
Well, Conor McGregor reminds me of someone who, like, can't say sorry or, like, can't say anything that maybe they did something wrong. Because to him, he says his pitch came with venom, composure, and balance. And if you watch the Conor McGregor, like the pitch that he did, it did not have composure.
No, there was no composure. It
I don't know
ridiculous.
What the balance was, but to him, he said it was amazing, and he doesn't know what everybody's talking about.
Well, if you look back at your film, typically you tell. It's kind of like when I talk on here and I listen to myself talk. I'm like, why did I say it like that? You know. And if he looked back at this video and he was like, composure. The strength of that, the power. When I look back at it, I'm like, what the heck was that? Like, you didn't even look comfortable. Didn't even look at the regular motion.
Well, everybody was comparing him to 50 Cent, who had also a very bad throw one time that he did. And Conor McGregor said to have the audacity to compare mine with him, he was not into. So
I would say that Conor McGregor's, like, he actually, like, came, like, with the heat. He was trying to throw it fast. Terrible accuracy, terrible form. But 50 Cent was almost embarrassing. Like, his was... He just looked like 50 Cent is like, seemed like such like a tough guy, but when he got up on the mound, he looked like the biggest weenie. Like, when he threw that he took it, like, short-armed it. It did not look good.
They were both bad, and none of them want to, because it doesn't seem like either of those guys are very humble, and they don't want to admit that it wasn't good. So Conor McGregor, he broke his leg during his last big fight that he had, so he does not return to the ring until next year.
And if I was Conor McGregor, I would have used that as an excuse. I'd been like, well, I was kind of like, my leg's kind of been injured, so like my balance wasn't right. I kind of threw a little bit to the right, but he's completely just ignoring that and just saying it was great.
Well, if you made fun of him for the Conor McGregor throw that he did at Wrigley Field, he said it has composure, balance, and venom, and you don't know what you're talking about.
You have no idea. I think that you're probably in the right.
The Riot Podcast.
So yesterday, I have a couple of text messages, Isaiah.
Perfect.
Yesterday, we talked for a bit about learning more about you.
Yeah.
And what makes you special, what makes you you.
Something like that.
And it seems to be that, what do we say?
I don't like things.
You have the palate of a toddler.
Whoa, it was a 7-year-old. It wasn't a toddler. It was a 7-year-old.
Basically, Isaiah seems to be into, as far as food goes, peanut butter and jelly, chicken.
Whoa.
Chicken tenders, milk.
Yes.
Anything else? Am I missing?
Well, I mean, there's lots of other things, but those are some of the main ones that I go to on a daily basis. Yes, very simple.
It is shocking how much Isaiah hates, and he hates it without even trying certain food. He says he just knows. He doesn't need to try it. So yesterday we talked a lot with listeners about foods that we hate to see if you also agree.
Yeah.
Tim, he got through yesterday's podcast. He texted in. He said from yesterday that onions, and that was a lot of people's ones. Onions seems to be the main thing that everybody hates. But I thought this morning, let's take a different look at it. maybe we should have been asking people what are our favorite food items and see if you like anything that we love.
That makes it a lot more fair because yesterday I was giving a lot of no's, but I already have said, like, I'm a picky eater, so if other people don't like it, I'm very, like,
There's a high chance you
I'm
won't.
not going to like it. But if you like it and I don't like it, then that makes it seem like a little bit worse, you know?
So
today, if
curious.
I perform poorly again,
Then you're bad.
then I will look a lot worse, but I feel a lot better about today.
So if everybody could just take a moment and text real quick at 877 to Radio U and just tell me one thing, and it doesn't really need to be a meal. I'm trying to find like one item things of
Like a baked potato.
Yeah, like a potato or an apple or something like that to see if we can then compare if Isaiah hates it, has even tried it. That was the shocking thing. Isaiah has not tried
But
a
there
lot.
was so much weird stuff. Like they said like escargot. They said like onions, tomatoes.
Tomatoes is not weird.
Mushrooms, all these weird things that no one really likes. Like nobody would be like, oh my gosh, I'm craving a mushroom. No one would ever say that. So for me, I was like, I've never tried it.
You
No,
are so
nor do I want
weird.
to.
Well, Isaiah, Stephanie texted it, says, people call me a psychopath for loving to drink plain milk. So that's an option. So Stephanie likes plain milk and you love milk.
Listen, Stephanie, you are one of my top favorites right now. It's plain milk. There's nothing better than plain milk as a drink. I drink it with every single thing. So if you want to come over, have a gallon on me, you are more than welcome. Because anybody who's just a plain milk drinker, hats off to you because we go through it, man.
Well,
we go through it.
You need to go through all the milk. So everybody text in just one item that you do like that's one of your favorite things, and then we'll see if Isaiah's even tried it.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
About to either expose me or I'm going to kind of gain some traction back by our listeners.
Because of your quirky ways. So yesterday we talked foods we hate, and Isaiah hates them all. Now it's time to talk about what's your favorite food, because then I'm really curious. If Isaiah doesn't like any of this stuff, then he doesn't like anything at all.
If you guys texted in weird stuff, I will be thoroughly upset, but I promise to tell the truth and only the truth.
So Tiffany says anything potatoes is fine with me, and bacon. Do you like
I
those?
love both.
You like both?
Love bacon and potatoes.
Aaron's going with blueberry pancakes.
Love blueberry pancakes, yes.
What about lobster from Katie?
Never tried it, but
You've never tried lobster?
But I would be willing to try it. I'm not going to say I hate it. I've never really had an opportunity. Because when I go to a seafood restaurant, I really like shrimp, so I always get shrimp. I've never tried lobster.
I bet you would.
I would try it. It's also a little bit expensive.
You need to find someone who will buy it for you. That's how
Yeah.
you try it.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, whenever I go to a seafood restaurant, I'm like, do I want to spend $30? No.
No, he does not. Kevin says, let's see, cheese pizza.
Love cheese pizza. Love pepperoni more, but I will eat cheese, yes.
Ashley says waffles, not pancakes, waffles.
I had him on the show just a couple weeks ago. Love waffles.
Let's see, Leah says chocolate almond milk, or what about French toast?
Not a big fan of almond milk. I have tried it. I'm not a huge fan. I've never tried chocolate, though. Maybe I'd like that more. I like white milk, like plain white milk so much that almond milk kind of tastes weird. But I do like French toast, yes.
Okay. Kelly says some of this stuff, I don't know if it's as, I just wanted basic food items, just to see, but you guys are going all out with Kelly's choosing roasted cauliflower.
No chance. No chance. Never tried it. It's roasted. I think fried would be better for me.
He doesn't even like cauliflower, so
no, I've
there's
never
no point to
tried
that.
cauliflower, but I don't like it.
Let's see, Mike says tacos.
I like tacos, but my tacos are very plain tacos. I'm talking just like beef and cheese tacos.
That's the basic?
Yeah, very basic. No lettuce, no tomatoes, no anything like that.
So Janet wonders, do you like Greek yogurt?
Greek yogurt, I do like. I actually bought some
do?
yesterday.
Hey!
Yes, weird thing, but I do like Greek yogurt.
Plain, or do you mix something in it?
It's plain. I eat it plain.
How do you like that, but you don't like tomatoes or like
What?
basic stuff?
Because I like the texture of it. I like the being able to spoon it out. I don't know why. I like that, though.
Oh my gosh. You're not hearing it, but I shake my head a lot at him. Let's see. Did I mention the deep dish Chicago style pizza from Brian?
See, I like deep dish Chicago style, but it is not my preferred pizza style. I prefer more of a thin crust, but I will eat it, yes.
Let's see. Tim says Hawaiian pizza. I feel like that's a loaded question.
No
Because you know
chance.
with Hawaiian pizza, everybody says, is that
It's
yes
controversial as is, so you can't judge me for this, but no, I will not eat Hawaiian pizza.
or no? The question, though, is have you had
I've
Hawaiian?
never tried it. I've never, but listen, I've never tried it, but I never will. Tim, enough, okay? Enough. Enough, Tim. You put that in there just to get me.
You always say, and it's like, hey, he must just really not like it. He's never tried it.
Never tried
That's
it,
the
Tim.
problem.
I'm not trying it with you either.
It's not going to happen. All right. Well, if anybody else has any other, what is your favorite food item? Doesn't have to be anything too much. Just like, what is your single favorite food item to see if Isaiah has even tried it or even likes it.
The worst podcast with the best listeners. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'm a simple man. I like simple foods.
Don't play it off like that.
And I'm a picky eater, possibly, yes.
Don't play it off like you're like a minimalist when it comes to what you
I
eat.
just like it uncomplicated, okay?
Dude, you're just picky.
It makes it easy on my girlfriend. She knows what I like, and she knows what I don't like. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much.
I still think your mom must have hated with all your pickiness with it.
Oh, yeah. She tried for a long time, and then after a while, you just give up, you know?
Just can't change you?
No, you can't change. I'm stubborn.
Feel free to text and say hi to Isaiah. He's filling in for Hudson. And we're finding out, okay, we talked yesterday foods that we hate. Does he hate them also? Now the real question is foods that we like. Does he still hate these foods? Because he's so picky. Laura asked it, since we're almost to the holidays, do you like gingerbread or eggnog?
Ooh, I don't like eggnog, but I do like gingerbread, yes.
You will?
Yes. I've never tried eggnog.
Oh, stop.
But I know I wouldn't like it. I can smell it. I can smell it that I wouldn't like it. I've never tried it. I've smelled it. I don't like the smell, so I don't like it.
See, that's the problem. He'll say he doesn't like it, but he's never tried most of these items. Grace says, are you more adventurous in life than in food?
Yes, I am. It's hard to be less adventurous in life than I am with food because I haven't tried a lot of things, but I have done more things than I've tried, yes.
Aaron asked, what about fettuccine Alfredo?
Love fettuccine Alfredo. I prefer chicken Alfredo, but fettuccine Alfredo is good too.
You just want some chicken in there?
I just want chicken in there. I don't
protein?
I don't want just like the pasta, but if you throw the chicken in there, then that gives it a little extra flavor. But I'm not a big mixer, so that's one of the things I do mix.
Which is also like when we were kids, you don't want your food touching.
No, I don't like food touching. I prefer to have my things separate, and when I eat it, I don't want it all mixed up together. I hate people that mix their food together. If you're a food mixer, you are the worst people.
I do. I like it in a bowl, and you just mix it all together.
No.
Well, Josh wanted to know about corned beef.
No
Have
chance.
you even had it?
Never had it.
Never had it.
Do
Ashley
not.
says, walk me through like a day then, Isaiah. What are you actually eating?
Well, listen, okay, I eat a lot of food throughout the day. Like in the morning, I'll eat like a protein bar. And then for lunch, I'll go to like Chipotle and get a burrito. I'll go to Buffalo. I have leftover Buffalo Wild Wings this morning. Yesterday, I went to Panda Express. And then at nighttime, I don't know, I made like a French bread pizza. I'll make like chicken nuggets. I'll put things in the air fryer, like boneless wings or something.
So
I'm a normal person. I'm a normal person like everybody else. I'll order a pizza. That's one of our favorite things. Last night we got B-dubs. I like wings.
I feel like we got you spot on. Basically, if it's served at a football game, then you're going to eat it?
Yes, if it's a hamburger, I'll eat chicken, all the good stuff. Everything that people want to eat every day, they just choose not to because they want to mix it up.
William says, what about deep-fried mac and cheese bites or even like mac and cheese?
Love mac and cheese bites, love mac and cheese. Big yeses.
Let's see. Ashley says, I'm not seeing much. Hopefully you take vitamins.
What? I get my healthy nutrients every day outside of anything that is green, but I do eat fruit. Do not eat vegetables.
Nate says, hey, it's kind of off the subject, but I think it goes right along with what we find out that you eat and don't eat.
Yeah.
So Nate's trying to pinpoint your age.
See, Nate, I wish you were on here so I could ask you how old you think I am. I am 13 years old now. I'm 23.
He's 23.
I'm 23 years old.
And he knows what he likes.
I know what I like, and I know what I don't like. I'm a man. I've tried enough things in my lifetime to where I know what I want to eat. So why would I try something and put it on my plate if I might not like it?
Well, Nate wanted to know, and he says, go Browns and picky eaters unite.
Oh, yes. I love it, Nate.
So if you want to say hey to Isaiah, or if you also hate everything but haven't tried it, feel free to text and tell us your favorite food to 877-2-RADIO-U, and we can see if there's anything else Isaiah enjoys.
See, today is much better than yesterday. Yesterday was a lot of haven't tried it, but I hate it because people were sending weird things.
Hudson sees the glass as half empty. But get this. He thinks a glass half empty is good. The Riot. RadioU.
Like we talk about a lot on the show, we both own pets.
We do.
We enjoy.
Who can own a pet? Don't say it that way. They're our family.
You're the family of pets. I own a little weasel that just happens to live inside of my house. I allow him to live there. He pees everywhere, and he eats all of our food, whether it's his food or my food.
He has a puppy named Jim.
And I allow him to live in my house. He's a wild animal.
He allows you to live in the place that you pay for.
He's pretty much taken dominance over the home. He's peed in my bed. He's peed on the floor. He's peed on the couch.
Dude, you've got to get your dog to like a training school.
The worst thing is he is potty trained, but there's just some times where I just think I don't know if it's like in defiance of me or if it's just like I don't really feel like going outside. It's kind of wet. It's kind of raining right now. Maybe I don't want to go outside and go pee. So instead I'm going to do it in your bed just before bedtime.
Just before.
But it turns out that 76% of millennials are pet parents, which is an extremely high number. That's 3 in every 4.
Everybody has pets, and a lot of people got doggies last year, too, and cats, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, what's it, pandemic puppies.
Mm-hmm.
And so when everybody was bored at home, they decided to get a dog, and now they all have, like, separation anxiety because they were with them nonstop.
And you better not do anything if you go back to work and you have to take care of your pet. Don't turn him back in.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the worst when I see people do that.
No, you cannot. I mean, Jim is a handful. Let me tell you, there's days where I'm like, dude, you're really making me upset, but I could never
turn him in.
I threaten it all the time, though. I'm like, Jim, you know what?
Well, no wonder he's peeing on your bed.
If you don't start shaping up, you're going back.
He's scared. No wonder.
It's been like 6 months, but I'm telling you, I'll send you back.
This recent survey said that 76% of, if you're 20 to 38, and if you have a pet, half reporting they have dogs. 35% say that they own cats. So the largest majority of the largest living generation, which is millennials, we have pets in our homes. So that's the target market now. So if you see like commercial for pet stuff, it's all targeting our age group because everybody has a pet.
And it also says which statements about their pets do they agree with. 50% said pampering their pet makes them happy.
Oh, yeah.
42% says I think of my pet as my own child, which is fair. I like that too. And then 42% also say spending more time at home has made me closer with my pet. I'd assume so. I do think of as my pet. I think of Jim as my little son.
Aww.
Because my roommate will say like, dude, this thing, he's terrible. I'm like, he's just my little prince, you know?
Don't
he's my
you
little
say
man.
that about my son.
He's my little man, okay? As annoying as he is, and as terrible as he is, he takes no direction. He's still my little dude, you know?
Well, if you guys can text in and tell me the answer to this question, 877-2-RADIO-U, because I want to know if you're like or if you're not for this. 29%, I regularly purchase presents for my pet.
A present buyer. Yesterday, that we were talking, me and my roommate were, because sometimes Jim gets in these moods where we're trying to watch a game or just hang out, and he's like all over us. So yesterday when I went to the store, he was like, you need to get him something that'll last him a while, that could really make him like take a lot of time so that he's occupied for a long time when we want to watch a game or something. So yesterday I went to the store and I bought the biggest bone I could possibly find, and Jim's only 7 months old, so he's not like a big dog. This thing is bigger than his head. I brought it home. I was like, okay, I'm saving this for the Browns game on Sunday.
To keep him busy.
I'm going to give this to you. You can go hog wild on it wherever you want. I was like, but it's going to look hilarious because I don't even know if he'll be able to fit the thing in his mouth. I'll have to take a picture of it so we can post it.
So he hasn't seen it yet, though?
No, he has not seen it. I've had it kind of around. I've hidden it for now. But he has he's a basset, so he has a great sniffer on him. Mm-hmm. And so he's constantly trying to find food or anything that smells good.
So Isaiah's answer is yes. But does anybody else pay or buy presents for their pet? 23% buy higher quality pet food. Like, dude, you'll buy better food for your pet than you will for yourself. And the rest just includes, I have gone without something to make a purchase for my pet instead.
What?
The Riot promise is that they'll always have an opinion on everything they talk about. But that doesn't mean any of their opinions will make sense. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Yeah, and so, Nikki, I found this study here that's kind of describing our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It says
our healthy lifestyle.
Our healthy lifestyle. It says research reveals how missing out on sleep can make you have excessive snacking.
So if you don't get enough sleep, then you're more likely to snack the next day because you're tired?
They said that they did a study where the people with more than 7 hours and the people with less than 7 hours. So if you're reaching that 7 hour mark, they're saying that's enough and you will not fall into the excessive snacking. Whereas if you're underneath of 7 hours, then you will have some excessive snacking going on. But they did the study and they found that the diets, they said mainly at nighttime was when people were snacking.
When you should be sleeping?
Which I feel like that kind of goes together. Like if you're late night snacking, that's going to keep you up. And so you're going to get less sleep.
I don't think then the way to talk yourself out of this thing is I'm not snacking, I'm excessive mealing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting my nutritional value in that I need every day.
They say if you're just tired, you tend to snack. You just need a little something to get you through the day or at nighttime. And if you snack, those foods are traditionally not as nutritionally good for you.
You know, before I read into this, I was against it. I said, there's no way that if you're just staying up late to eat more, whatever, the food is what's getting in the way of the sleep. But now I do agree after hearing that if I'm tired in the morning, I'm like, well, let me just go to the break room. Like if I get some chips in me, maybe that'll turn me around.
I feel like you're just not able to say no as much. So they say that it is the main reason or just another reason, because this is all everybody tells us, is that we're supposed to stick to a early on-time bedtime, that you have to get enough sleep, you have to get enough rest so that you're doing better the next day. Otherwise, we're a mess.
Yeah, we're just a mess.
We're a mess sometimes.
See, I have a sleep schedule, and I go to bed at the exact same time every single night, somewhere between 10 o'clock and 10:40. But even if I go to bed at 10 o'clock, which is the earliest I go to bed, I still will not attain these 7 hours of sleep that I need.
I know. We just get up too early, but they say that's not, it doesn't count if you're going into bed. You actually have to fall asleep. Because a lot of us, I'm in bed. I'm watching stuff in bed.
I'm in there, okay?
It's not enough. So the screen time and the wind down activities and the relaxing and stuff, dude, this ones are like, you might need a sleep supplement.
Oh, no. It's an attack. It's a full-on attack.
So if you snack a lot and you really want to stop snacking, then you might need to be sleeping.
Instead of snacking, just sleep. Just sleep instead. You know, that sounds better anyway. If you just go to bed earlier, you'll feel better the next day. You won't snack as much late at night, and you'll be much happier. But yet again, we fall asleep every single night at the same time and get no sleep.
I just can't. Every time I want to snack, though, I can't sleep. Like, I can't nap that way.
If I'm laying in bed and I'm hungry, let alone if I'm just laying in bed normally, like I have trouble falling asleep anyway, but if I'm hungry, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to bed.
Well, we all have a problem with it. I think we all understand it, but if possible, try to get more sleep, and they say that might make it better.
Yeah, it'll make it a little bit better.
You've made it all the way to the end of the Worst of the Riot. This show only exists because of support from listeners like you. Find out more and help out at RadioU.com/donate.